All right, I'm going to show you how to make falafel. This recipe, it took me a while to find one that would work and work well because I didn't want to fry. So this falafel though, you have to start with raw chickpeas, and you don't cook them though. You do the step where you let them soak. You need to let them soak for 4 hours or up to overnight. So I took 1 cup of chickpeas, put them in a water, covered it up overnight in the refrigerator, and then they plump up really nicely. And then you pop them into your food processor. This is another recipe that you really need your food processor for. Then you add lots of the herb things that really make a falafel great. So we need to add garlic, and the garlic, it says 4 cloves and just quarter them. So you don't have to do a bunch of chopping, just break them up a bit. The food processor is going to do the rest, so in that goes. Then we have a 1/2 cup of cilantro leaves, so cleaned, and there's a good 1/2 cup packed. Get that in there. And the same thing with parsley. So we have a 1/2 cup of parsley, and then we have some onion. So I've forgotten, I believe it's a 1/2 cup of onion as well, yes. And then we need some herbs. So actually, let's mix this together first. Get the Okay, then we're going to add cumin, and we're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. In the ground form. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and because remember there wasn't anything that was, oops. So then I'm going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and some smart person told me 24 rounds was a teaspoon, so 12 should be a 1/2. Can't forget the cinnamon. So you need just a little bit of cinnamon. So a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. It's just interesting how the rest of the world plays with spices. I want to make sure that it all gets mixed in evenly, so I'm going to push this down again. But it's really weird. Okay. All right, now we're going to form patties, and we're going to, basically, it's kind of like, it's almost cheating. It's like pan frying. So we're going to add a generous amount of olive oil to your pan, and you want a sided pan so it'll keep the olive oil in and won't run over in your oven. So it's best to just form them in a ball, and I'm using 2 tablespoons basically. And they say to make them kind of into a little log. And you might be thinking now, why is she showing us this recipe for a school? Like, it's going to take me forever to make this for 50 kids. The neat thing is this could be something special, and it can be done over a series of days, and you can keep them in the freezer. for a couple of months actually, and then just heat them up. You can make them ahead and keep them in the refrigerator, so it's not as bad as it might seem. So wonderful accompaniments for this would be get some whole grain pitas and either make them or get them from your distributor. They also are kind of fun as a little appetizer thing where you combine pitas and maybe make pita chips and combine them with the vegetables like cucumbers and tomatoes to make a little platter or serving. Okay, now they're all ready to go into the oven, and they will cook for 20-25 minutes, and we'll flip them halfway through. So we are just getting ready to plate the falafel. So it's been in the oven, and I turned it, and it's crispy on both sides. This is great with pitas, but since I don't have pitas today, I'm going to make a little appetizer plate with some tomatoes. And the traditional sauce for these would be a yogurt sauce. And so I just whipped together some of that unflavored Greek yogurt with some seasonings that are reminiscent of tzatziki sauce. So there's some dill and garlic, etc. in there. So I'm just going to put that in with them. It's great as a dip, and you know kids love to dip, so let's get them dipping something delicious like this.